Hello, and welcome to Madam Suzanne. I'm your host, Freddie Shaben. Hi, Jaden. How are you? So I hope I'm not interfering with everybody's vice president debate. I guess Pence and Harris are debating tonight. So I was thinking about the subject for tonight, and to be honest with you, I was in one of those zones where I've dealt with a lot of different people today. Some of them in the business and some of them are not. And this is why I came up with the subject title, What's Wrong with People? And I'm sure Jaden and everybody else that's in the business, sometimes we get to deal with the, I guess, the perception and the judgment and all the stuff that goes along with us being in this industry. So one of the most interesting for me is that I went online and I've been doing a lot of research lately. And I noticed that there's so many websites and apps that are directly or indirectly connected with sex, right? So a lot of them flat out say it's for sex, like swingers and hookup sites and all this other stuff. And of course, the escort sites and all the live streaming and all the sex on live streaming and everything that's going on. And then you have the indirect ones, which act like they're a dating site to find a long distance relationship. To find a long term relationship, or marriage or whatever. And what the interesting thing is for me is that if you take all these websites and apps, they all have one thing in common, right? There's an innuendo of sex that's underneath everything across the board. Now, maybe I'm just going nuts. Maybe it's just my background or being in the business for so long or being so engulfed in this project of mine that I'm thinking that way. But, you guys can chime in and let me know what you think. But here's the ironic thing for me. It's like everybody thinks about it. Everybody wants to do it. Well, most people anyways, even the ones that have ED, erectile dysfunction, they still want to have sex. It doesn't matter what the age is. There's always interest in it. It's natural, right? It's a natural desire. It's a natural need. And then when people in the industry, the escorts, the porn stars, all this stuff, when we provide those services, right, as much as they love them, for some reason, a lot of people cannot, and it seems like I talked to a lot of them today on that side, a lot of them cannot just be honest and come to terms with the fact that, you know what, I do love sex. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching porn. I enjoy going and seeing escorts. I enjoy, just sex, period. And it seems like they're having a hard time admitting it or something. It's just really, really strange for me because, to me, I happen to be a very honest guy and I like to keep things, over the line. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. So those are some of the things I've been dealing with lately. And to be honest with you, I've been doing a lot of marketing for the second book I just published, How I Made $1 Million a Year as an Upscale Escort. And it seems like even escorts in the industry, and I talked to them about, the legalization and starting the conversation and changing the perception and doing the interviews and stuff. And to be honest with you, it seems like a lot of them don't even care, and I have to try to explain it to them and, I don't want to take up their time. And it's just been kind of a little struggle trying to get over that hump. But, I just have to keep on going and keep doing it for the better good of everybody. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that today a little bit. Maybe you can share some of the some of your experiences as well, and whether it's in or outside the business of people and their views about sex, and especially in their personal life, and how they translate that outwards, or do they even want to admit it, or they want to even let people know that they're actually freaks behind the closed door, if you will. So those are the things I've just been thinking about today. I did shoot a video earlier. I already posted it. It is titled, "Should Prostitution Be Legal in the U.S.?" And it was basically just my point of view, being in the business for so long, about the pros and cons and what it really boils down to for us being in this business, and whether it should be legal or not. So that was an interesting video. Of course, anybody can just go online and do research and get the stats, but that wasn't what I was interested in. I don't want to bore you with things you already know, or can go and get on Google or whatever. I just wanted to shed some light from my experience and my perspective on the legalization or decriminalization subject matter. So, what else should we talk about today? Other than people that are haters and people that don't like us because we're in this business and we're doing something fun and we're making a lot of money, and but we can talk about that too, or we can talk about whatever else you guys want to talk about. So if you have any questions, you guys just go right ahead. We can open a discussion about anything, whatever you guys want to do. I'm open, as always. I'm sure Dynamite has some dynamite questions for us, something really juicy, and possibly a little bit on the kinky side. Jaden is also here. We've done an interview. She's a porn star, and she's a good friend of mine. So I'm really happy that you're in here. Oh, Eve is in here. Yes, Eve. I'm curious how others' business is doing during the pandemic. So I speak with about maybe a dozen people a day that are active on average, and it's definitely hurt the business for sure, 100%. Yeah, and Eve, what state are you in? What area are you in, if you don't mind me asking? I'm just curious. Well, there's a lot of fear out there, and we have such an intimate business that, aside from both parties being in masks and not getting too close, I mean, face to face type of thing. Okay, which part? Can you tell me which part? Is it north, south? I live in San Diego, so are you closer? The reason I'm asking is, okay, so that sucks. You should not be slow. As you know, I did work in Orange County, and I know a lot of, not a lot, few that worked in LA. And I never really worked. I worked in LA a little bit, but it's definitely going to affect it no matter what. I mean, people are scared, people are nervous, and it's such an intimate, business. I mean, I've talked to a few of them. They have and I'm sure you probably do as well, they have the thermometer, the electronic thermometer you put on the forehead. Okay. Perhaps sometimes it's the demographic. I mean, I'm sure it's got affected. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, if you're in Ventura County, and it's a very small county, right? So let's say you have a pool of 2,000 clients out there, and your share is, let's say you have 5% market share, right? Okay. So now, because of the pandemic, that 2,000 client pool, probably you can take that and divide it by half, right? So now you're looking at 1,000. So even if you're doing 5% of 1,000, if you look at it as a business stat, right? If you're doing 5% of 1,000, your business is going to go down in half no matter what. So if that would have happened with me when I was working, I would have two choices. If I had a lot of money, I would wait it out. But then most people don't, and they have to continue making money. So the only other option with me is to go to a better market, which I did in Vegas when we slowed down in the summer. So we would go to New York, we would go to Washington, D.C., we would go to any area that we knew had a big demographic, and it was always busy, right? So I noticed when I'm doing my direct marketing, I can share this information with you. New York, Washington, D.C., which is really Virginia, but Washington, D.C., all the politicians. Believe it or not, Dallas is kicking ass. Denver is kicking ass for whatever reason. I guess a lot of people moving out of California to Denver and Dallas because I can tell from how many people are advertising in each area how big is the market, right? Because they have to have enough market for them to be attracted to that market, right? Enough demographic, enough of clients. So sometimes, like I did in the past, the answer is to go where the money is. So that's the beautiful part about our business. It's always been where the next opportunity is just a flight away. And if you haven't read my new book, I have a whole chapter about travel, right? And I break down everything that I did when I did do the travel thing, the things that I watched out for. It's a lot dedicated to safety. And as you know, I'm always safety number one. So it's a very, very informative chapter. And Eve, if you want, just email me later or whatever, and then we can chat one-on-one. And if you don't have the book, just let me know, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that I would have done if I was working today. I'm glad I'm retired, to be honest with you. And I'm glad I didn't have to deal with the pandemic thing, because it's definitely a challenge. And being that for me, safety is number one, it would have been a really big challenge. How am I going to know that the person walking in, especially if they don't know, right? Because there's a lot of things we don't know, right? So how do we know that the person walking in that I'm about to be intimate with, that they're not sick? Because not everybody knows that they're sick, right? So that's definitely a challenge. But I would definitely probably look at a bigger market. Now, of course, LA is a huge market, as you know. New York City, Dallas, even Denver. I was shocked with Denver. Denver is huge. So yeah, it's definitely challenging for sure. But I can tell you this though, Eve, there's no money on earth worth your health. I'll tell you that right now, and I'm sure you know it. I'm just reiterating what you already know, because if you don't have your health, God forbid, now you can't do anything. You'll be miserable. So as long as you're healthy, you can work out the money part. Okay. Please, more questions. I love these questions. Dynamite, where's your questions? There's gotta be, I don't know if I was doing a little research. There's some sort of spray that you can spray in the room. It's kind of like a disinfectant spray and anything, but I mean, nobody knows, like, honestly, aside from the mask and social distancing and everything else they tell us, I mean, how do we know what we can do to minimize the risk? And we do it the best we can. You just never know, Definitely, one thing I'd be happy about if I was working right now is kissing is out, because I've always struggled with that, right? Back in the olden days, before the internet, that was a no-no. Nobody kissed. That wasn't even talked about. It was like, no, it's not going to happen. And then the GFE popped in around late 1999, early 2000, right? And then they made, of course, it was client-based, so they made the kissing part of the whole thing. So now I'm like, oh, geez, now we're going to have to go around that one, right? So I came up with all these different tricks how not to have to kiss and not to piss the client off at the same time. But that's one thing about COVID is, and now the escort could say, hey, I'm sorry, we just can't kiss. So that's a good out, right? Legit out. So at least there's always a positive in everything, right? This is the blessing in disguise about that one. But yeah, all you can do is just be as healthy and as safe as you can, and that's it. There's supposed to be a nasal spray coming out that blocks the virus from infecting cells in the plate. Yeah, I heard about that too. Bad Sophia Marie. Freddie, my first question is why don't you write a book about your life? Okay, so I have written a book called Madam Suzanne, and it's basically I give a little background about my life, but it's also more focused on a little bit of Vegas, a little background, but also what happened with me in Orange County when I got in trouble. So it's called Madam Suzanne. It's on Amazon, and if you want the audio, let me know. Just send me an email because the audio has not been. They're behind, and even the first book, let alone the second book, has not been approved yet. But I do have the audiobook, so let me know if you'd rather have the audio. We can work something out, okay? And I also written a autobiography when I was on vacation at my very comfortable 5-star resort, and it's a lot nicer than Pelican Hill Resort in Newport Coast, right? I wrote an autobiography and a movie script, but that's going to come later. Now I'm just focused on Madam Suzanne and the second book, which is how I made $1 million a year as an upscale escort. And I think I'm going to end up producing a pilot to speed up the process for the movie and the series on Netflix. So those are the projects I'm working on right now. But that will come for sure, the whole autobiography. Second question, Fetty, when are you ever going to just fall in love with me? I think you're amazing. Okay, done and done. Let's go. Well, it'd be nice if I knew who you were first before I can fall in love with you. You're funny. Is there any more third questions? Thank you, Bad Sophia. So, Eve, did you like that about the kissing part? Where now you have plausible deniability where you can't kiss, right? You can get away with it. Especially when they kiss like it's bubble gum or they're chewing on something, right? It's like, hey, you're not chewing on bubble gum here, please. And when they do the other thing too. You know what I'm talking about? When they go downtown. Yeah, couple that bubble gum and 2 pumps and a wiggle, and we got a great client. I mean, I love 2 pumps and a wiggle because they're in and out, so you can do more clients that way. But yeah. Yeah, right. Okay. So what else you guys want to talk about? So like just today, like really it's an open forum. I just figured I was just one of those moods today, and when I was planning the live stream, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with people, right? And it's just amazing. Like you try to do your best, and you try to be as nice as you can, as honest as you can, and to be honest with you, with just some people, and I'm just gonna take this little path here for a second, if you don't mind, but it's just some people they're not aware of their own position on what they're talking about, and they're just so negative that they cannot see beyond their negativity, and they just keep projecting outwards, not having the self-awareness to figure out why they feel that way before they pass judgments or open their mouth. But to each his own. I mean, I had to develop thick skin to do what I'm doing today, because I was never in the front like this, right? I was always behind the scenes. It was illegal. I did not really want to be in the front. I didn't want anything to do with anything. I created this persona, which is Madam Suzanne. So that was my alter ego, because I had to do things behind the scenes. I had to be on the phone screening, so it couldn't be a guy. So this is very, very new. It's not that I'm not comfortable. I'm comfortable. I love people, and I love doing this stuff. It's just you definitely have to be evolved, and you definitely have to be comfortable with your own skin. You have to be non-judgmental. You cannot take things personal, as hard as it could be when they're attacking you, calling you names. And I mean, you should see some of the comments I get when I do interviews on other channels. Like some of the people are just, and they follow me over here, I'm trying to keep this positive for us. And, but, I try to control as much as I can, but, it's kind of hard, but, yeah, it's just, I'm sure, everybody here that's listening to me tonight, they can, especially the ones in the business, they can definitely relate to what I'm talking about. It's not easy. It's not easy being in this business. Yeah, you got that right. Third question. What are the top 5 reasons why men are so deprived of intimacy? Your thoughts, please. Okay, so it definitely has something to do with society. I want you to imagine this, right? And I thought about this. I'm a guy, right? Think about if we lived in a society where there's a role reversal, right? So halfway decent woman, she could not even be a 5 out of 10. She could be a 4 or 3 out of 10, right? Beauty wise, one is, God forgotten about her when he was passing, beauty, and then 10 is just gorgeous, knockout. That type of woman, and believe me, I'm going to tell you a story here in a second. That type of woman can go in and get laid anywhere. She can go to the car wash, the grocery store. I actually have a couple of stories for you. And I did a couple of experiments, right? And I'll share them with you. So if we lived in a world where it's role reversal, meaning the guys can do this, where they can just go out and get laid, just like, hey, you, let's go, right? There won't be. And I think it has a lot to do with society, right? A lot of things that we deal with in this business, it has to do with society. And you know this, Sophia, right? Society dictates how people should think, how they should feel, how they should act. It's really sad, but it's true. So a guy is supposed to do X, Y, and Z, and a woman is supposed to do, A, B, and C, and here we are. So men become deprived because even when they get married, right, a lot of things change. So that sexy, hot woman that used to take care of herself, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of them, a high percentage of them, they just start saying, no, I already got him. They get comfortable, they get relaxed, they start gaining weight. The sex is not as good. They're not trying harder. They're not, keeping the hair and makeup and keeping it interesting with different outfits and let's do it different places and all this stuff. So it has a lot to do with that. Another thing too, honestly, and this is, please don't crucify me. It's true after 30 years in this business. Men are wired a certain way, right? That most men, even if they're in love, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, there's sex and there's love, and men, they can totally do both separately. They can totally be totally in love. And I've had extensive conversations, I promise you, with a lot of clients, with thousands of clients, right? And they would talk to me, Madam Suzanne, about this stuff. And some of them will be crying like, I can't believe it. I can't stop coming over here. I love your girls and everything, but I have a wife at home. I love her and I want to do this, but I can't help myself. It's a wiring thing. A lot of them are sex addicts. They don't even know it. There's a lot of sex addiction out there, and most men don't even know. And some women, of course, they don't even know that they're sexually addicted to sex. And all men cheat 99.99999%. Okay, there's a 0.0000001% because nobody's perfect, right? But yeah, you're right. You're right. Like I often said, if men didn't cheat, I would be out of business, because the majority of the men that I targeted, aside from financial profiling and stuff like this, they had to be able to afford $500 or $1,000 an hour. They all are like they're married. This way, we don't have to worry about them, staying the whole hour, 2 hours, or want to just date the girls or all this. They don't have time, and they're busy people. So that's why I chose them that way, right? And most of them are married. Yeah, 100%. But they can do that, right? Men can do that. I'm a guy. I'm telling you, you can be in love with somebody and they can go just stick it in somewhere else. Like I was telling a friend of mine, it's just, they got to stick it in. It's in the hole, and I'm sorry, I apologize, all due respect. Most men, they see a hole, they stick it in, and they don't even think twice. And they two pumps and a wiggle, and they're gone. So I think that has a lot to do with, besides the society thing, right? And 5 reasons. I can't really see more than the 2 or 3 I just mentioned, to be honest with you. I don't know why you mentioned 5. If you have any ideas, let me know. And some of them, like some guys that grown, and also another social thing, right? Which is people that are grown, let's say in Iran or the Middle East or Saudi or UAE or any of those countries where they're really deprived because they have the religion, the Muslim religion. They got women on one side. They cannot mingle. They cannot go to school together. They cannot whatever. They have to have the stuff. I mean, it's a lot of social pressure and social stigma, and there's just the way they were raised and religion, and I used to have few friends acquaintances that were like, I knew this Prince guy when I had a nightclub in San Diego. He'd have these wild parties at his house. He was from Saudi Arabia. His grandfather was a king, right? This is in the 80s. And I'm telling you, the freaking wildest guy. Why? Because he grew up and he was raised as a Muslim. He couldn't do anything in his country. They couldn't even look at women. Women couldn't even get out of the house without, this thing over their head, right? Same thing with a guy from UAE. They were so deprived, even though, they were from Abu Dhabi, which is just like Dubai, right? The same country. His dad was the ruler back then. And this guy was going to UCSD out here. And the same thing. I mean, he could not get enough because they're so deprived. So it's a lot of social stuff and, religion. And yeah, that's what it is. I got to tell you, I share with you a story about. So I'm the type of guy, like in every other business that I had a lot of different legal businesses. So like when I was in the restaurant business, I made sure before I can tell anybody what to do, like how to do it, I had to make sure that I knew how to cook, of course. If I take the trash out, I know where the trash is, how long it takes me to take the trash out. No matter what it is, I made sure that I did everything so I can, if I'm telling an employee to do something, I know exactly what's involved, right? Well, same principle. In 2002 or 2003, I forgot, one of those years, before I became really, really big agency in Vegas, right? I was only working with maybe 3 or 4 dozen women. This is before I ended up with 220 girls and 33 phone girls, and I had a big operation. So I wanted to do a little experiment, right? So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and pimp my own ass out, right? So I did a little website. I think I called myself Angel Vegas or some stupid pseudonym like this, right? And I said, let me see what happens. And so I only catered to women. And of course, you're going to get the gay element. A lot of guys you still call and whatever, which, I'm not gay. I'm just totally straight. So that wasn't going to happen. And to be honest with you, I did it for about a month or so. And I couldn't believe, 4 clients, I couldn't believe I was getting paid because the girls were just gorgeous. And I had 3 girls from, and I'm not trying to boast or anything, but I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you this, right? Because there's a reason why I'm telling you this point. The last client I had, God bless her, I did not ask her for a picture. I didn't ask her, of course, how much she weighs. That's total no-no with women, of course. And she was at the Monte Carlo. It was her birthday. It was like 40th birthday or something. She said she was still a virgin. And when I met her at the coffee shop downtown, down in at the Monte Carlo, right, they have really nice suites, and she was a nice suite. This lady was from Iowa, and I already profiled her. She owned a big shuttle company with buses and shuttles, and she had money, right? I think I was charging her $1,500 for like 2 or 3 hours, whatever it was. And that was her birthday present for herself. Lucky bitch, right? She picked the wrong guy. But anyways, so I meet her at the Monte Carlo, and we at the coffee shop, and I'm looking for this girl. I'm like, where the hell is she? There's 2 people in the coffee. This is about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and at the Monte Carlo they have one steakhouse. I forgot the name of it, Delmonico's or whatever. Really nice restaurant, but it was closed at the time, right? Because this is during the week. And Monte Carlo is a small boutique casino right by at the south side of the strip, like right by the Caesars and New York, right? So there's this guy in there. Of course, it's not him. And there's this huge, we're talking 400 plus pound lady. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do, right? Great screening, buddy. So I sat down. Of course, she's got 4 plates. She already polished 3 of them, and she's working on the fourth one. And we're talking about a big hamburger like this, and a lot of fries, and all this crap, right? So I'm sitting there. I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to get out of this, and this is not happening, right? I'm allergic to that, and I can't do 400 pounds. I can't even do 300 pounds, let alone. So, anyways, long story short, we end up upstairs. I end up getting out of it. I had it in the hot tub. I don't know if you guys want to hear the whole story, but basically what I'm saying is women don't have to pay for it normally, right? And with all my marketing, all my efforts, and I'm in Vegas, the best market, whatever, I ended up I think I've done maybe, honestly, maybe 6 or 7 jobs in the whole month, right? So yeah, guys, unless they're gay, they're not going to be able to do any type of business in this industry. Anybody tells you any different, they're kind of lying to you, unless they're doing the sugar mama thing and they have a couple of good ones lined up and they fell in love with them or whatever. But as far as women paying for it, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. I remember Heidi Fleiss tried to contact me when she moved to Pahrump, and she had this idea about opening a brothel for women with hiring men, right, to do reversal. And she found out later that, of course, it's not going to work. And I told her, I said, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work unless if you do it for gay men, you definitely got a shot. Because these guys of course, the guys that's why they have a lot of sex, because maybe that's why they go gay, because they all like to do it, so they go to town. So anyways, that's I was going to tell you another story, but I forgot which one it was now. But so that's my story about pimping my own ass out. Yeah, I should make a video about that one. It's just a funny story now looking back at it. So are you guys sad you're missing the debate tonight? I'm sure it's going to be a big debacle. But anyways, God help us. So what else you guys want to talk about? Come on, I'm sure you guys have some things brewing in your mind. Something very erotic. I could feel the energy coming from the chat room. Something erotic, something sexy, something maybe taboo. Whatever it is, let's talk. It's all good, If we can't talk here, where can we talk? But, it's very interesting being in the business, of course, and, seeing how people perceive it, even though everybody loves sex. So that's just the point is, honestly, everybody loves sex. Everybody wants it, right? In one way, shape, or form. And it's all different levels, of course. Some people on one level, other ones on another level. Brooke Quinn. Have you ever had a girlfriend? Hi, Brookie. Yeah, the vice president debates are on. Yes, I have had a girlfriend. Of course, I've had several girlfriends. And the last one I had was a real deal. Okay, when I got in trouble. So yeah, the answer is yes. I have had a girlfriend. But we're no longer girlfriend and boyfriend now. We're just friends. And I don't have a girlfriend currently. So. What else? That's very, very nice, Brookie. Very funny. There's a little inside joke here. I wish I could share it with everybody, but so yeah, it's really interesting because everybody loves sex, everybody wants it, but then when it comes to public anything, all of a sudden everybody wants to be a goody two shoes, or they don't want to talk about it, or they're embarrassed about it, or they don't want to tell anybody about it, or you fill in the blank, right? I don't know why that is. It has something to do with upbringing, with social stigmas, all the stuff, right? It just really sucks. I just wish everybody would be just honest with themselves and their sexuality, and just, do, as long as nobody's hurting anybody, just do what you feel. Do what you want to do with the right person, as long as two consenting adults, I don't see what the harm is. And, as long as you're being safe, of course, and everybody's happy. So, yeah. Mm, why? Do you guys want to go watch the debate now, Eve? Do you want to watch Pence and Kamala Harris duke it out? So yeah, I'll pay you $1,600. Sonia Garcia, love your channel. Talk about how you recruited providers. Okay, so I had a system like everything else. Hi, Sonia. And the way I did it is I wrote like a dozen different ads in different formats, right? Like some of them, the subject will say, make $1,000 a day minimum, working 6 to 8 hours, right? Another one would say make $30,000 a month, working, I think, 25 hours a week, which was 3 days, right? 25 hours a week, or whatever. So I wrote the ads different ways because different people are attracted to different keywords, right? And even with numbers, there's magic numbers for everybody. So everybody can interpret the ad the way they want it. So anyways, I wrote the ads. I've stuck them in certain areas, right? Craigslist, believe it or not, was a huge success for me because everybody, I know it sounds weird, but everybody, they go to the adult gigs or whatever, the gigs part, everybody reads them. Sexy Jobs was another one. Sometimes I did a little recruitment on Model Mayhem and stuff like this. So I would put the ads up, and within the ad, I made sure that I pre-screened the applicants because I was looking for a certain provider, right? After years in this business, I knew I needed somebody that's never done it before. That was important. So I put those in bullet points within the ad, right? Never done it before. Now, and I had to be careful because it's illegal, right? So I didn't want red flags all over the place for law enforcement and God knows who else and the feds and everything else. So I wrote it a certain way. I had to be very careful in my wording, right? So they had to be over 21, very important. They had to be beautiful, face, body, take care of themselves. They had to love intimacy with men, right? They had to never done it before because I wanted to make sure that they have no bad habits. So they're trying to come and steal my clients or try to hustle the clients or steal something from the clients. Or if he forgot his wallet or his wad of cash or his $80,000 watch, that he'd be able to come back and get it. She's not going to disappear on me, make me look bad, So I had certain qualifications, right? And what I was trying to do is I was trying to pre-screen through the ad, which is very important, right? Words, I thought are really, really powerful, right? So I did that, and still a lot of people don't pay attention. They don't communicate right. They don't read, properly. They just send, and I had some issues with some people that were 50 pounds overweight, and now I'm the prejudice against them, or I'm prejudiced against, certain weight or whatever, which I wasn't. It's just that this kind of job requires a certain look, especially if I'm going to guarantee somebody $1,000 in their pocket from day one to walk home with after a few hours. They have to look a certain way because that's part of the job, And then I went so out of 100 emails or so, I would get like 15, let's say 15 emails a day, right? So out of 100 emails, I would like maybe 5, right? And I would ask, we'll go through email first, right? No phone calls, no names, no nothing. I mean, they'll give me their name, but I just wanted to make sure that they're not law enforcement. I wanted to make sure that they're legit, that they're not underage. I mean, I don't need any problems, right? So I have to be extremely careful, just like almost as extreme as screening the clients, because you're letting them into your circle of trust. So either it was a client or an escort, you have to be real careful because they could make you or break you, could make you break your whole operation. So from the emails, once we exchanged 3-4 emails or whatever, and of course I asked in the ads, I asked for regular pictures with the phone, no tricks, no shadows, no lighting tricks, no Photoshop, nothing, just a straight shot in a bikini or nude, whatever they're comfortable with. I'm not I always had to say that I'm not a picture collector. I'm not a pervert. Of course, they don't know me, but I put it in there anyways. Just a front shot, both sides, right side, left side, and a back shot in a bikini or nude or whatever. I need to see their picture and their face. And I told them you didn't have to put makeup on or do your hair or makeup. If you want to, that's fine. If not, just send me a regular picture because I wanted to see the natural beauty, right? And I wanted to see what the potential is because, with hair and makeup, the sky's the limit. But you have to start with a really good base. At least, on a scale from 1 to 10, I want them to at least 8 or 9, so it makes my job easier. Because believe me, I've worked with less than 8 or 9. I've worked with 5s and 6, and I know what the result is. So I wanted to make the job easier for me, and I had a 5-year or a 9-figure goal, and I wanted to get there, right? Let me see, is it 9 figures? No, 8 figures, sorry. So I wanted to get there as quickly as I can, or get in and get out, okay? Then once I was comfortable through the emails, it went to a phone call. And out of the 5 that I liked, out of 100 emails, I made like 2 of them and hired 1 or 2 of them at the end of the day, right? And so I just kept screening them over the phone. I had extensive conversations with them, their background, their situation, why do they want to do this job? And I wanted to make sure it's something positive, right? She told me like she wants to buy a couple of Louis Vuittons, or she wants to buy a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, whatever. I wasn't, or if she didn't have a good answer and I could tell that she was probably on drugs or something, she just wanted drug money, didn't want to do that either, right? They had to have something positive. And I took care of that over the phone by just talking to them, just like I did with the clients. You're screening them just like when you screen anybody in your life, especially when you first meet somebody for dating or whatever it is, you just screen them. So yeah, I went through that, and then I would like 1 or 2 out of 100, and I had to hire at least 1 or 2 every week because I only worked with, this is in Orange County, I only worked with them like 3 months, sometimes maybe 6 months, maximum a year, but mostly 3 to 6 months. They needed to make 50 grand or 60 grand or 40 grand or 80 grand or 100, whatever it is. Just get them in and get them out, 2 or 3 months, 6 months. So I constantly had to hire because I had 12 locations and I only let them work 2 or 3 days a week. So I had to fill in all these 12 locations with 12, 1 in each location per day. And since they only work 2 or 3 days a week, we worked 5 days a week. So I had to have enough, like 65 to 70 on the roster to make sure I have enough people. So as I let people go, I hired 1 or 2 every Saturday and got them started the following week. So that's how I did it. Yeah, you have to screen, and then the final interview would be in person, usually at the Starbucks, right close to all my locations. All my locations were off 4 or 5 in Jamboree and Irvine, by U.S.A. So there was a Starbucks at Michelson in Jamboree, right, and that was kind of my office away from my real office. So I would meet them over there, and we'll talk. And if they needed to, see more proof that I'm legit. Of course, I showed them once I trusted them, and I knew they're not law enforcement, they're not trying whatever. I would interview them face to face and do the final interview and ask all the hard questions and the right questions, and just do like a final interview, just like any other company. Make sure that I'm looking at them, making sure that they're not, they're being honest with me. They don't have a boyfriend or a psycho. I don't want any drama at all. So I made sure when I saved a lot of these questions until I could see them face to face because I wanted to make sure I can read them, like to see if they're lying or there's something going on in the background. So that was really like, I already knew I was going to hire them. I think out of maybe 100 people I met, I may not have hired, maybe I would say 3% or 5%, because something that they said face to face that it didn't sit well with me. And since safety is always number one, I did not hire them. But for the most part, when they made it to that point, that third level, from emails to calls to meeting in person, I hired them at that point. So yeah, so I focused on screening them just as much as I did with my clients. Because it's very important to, in any business, very important to pick the right coworkers or the right employees. Otherwise, they'll make you or break you. I wanted to make sure they're not going to steal and do extras and not tell me. I just want honest people. I know it sounds really trivial, especially in this business, but I really did the best I could because they never done it before. So they're not jaded and they weren't tainted. They weren't. They didn't have bad habits that they picked up, and they didn't, want to rob the clients or hustle them and stuff. And so I taught them the right way how to do this business. Brookie asked, how did you know if they had any sexual skills? Well, I had extensive conversations with them, and I also did shoot a POV GFE video that I got my clients used to with every single one of them. And we talked about it, and we did the video, and I was able to see what they could do, what they're all about, what skill level they're on. And I was able to give them some pointers and go watch oral porn, go do this, go do that, work on this, and gave them some pointers and went from there. So yeah, Brookie, I know you already knew the answer to that one. You're just trying to bust my balls over here. But yeah, so that's how I knew, darling. I mean, if I had a bakery and I wanted to hire a baker, right? Or if I had a pizza joint, I want to hire somebody that knows how to make good pizza. So when I interview them, what am I going to tell them? Go in there and make me a pizza. Or go in there and make me a loaf of bread or whatever we're selling. Make me a cake. And let's see what you got, right? So in this case, I sold mainly GFE, girlfriend experience, right? So that's what I had to do. Because I know I didn't want the client, when they asked me, is she good? Is she whatever? You know what? I showed them a 13-second video and that was it. And I could tell them, yeah, she's this, she's that, she's this. This is my honest opinion. This is my review. Or maybe some of them were inexperienced. And some guys like that. They didn't want a porn star. Some of them wanted their girl next door. That was the attraction to them. It's just the regular girl. And they knew that I hired people that had never done it before. So that was another part of the attraction. So it actually worked in our favor. Yeah. So, yeah, just screening. Just very, took my time screening them for sure. Does that answer the question, Sonia? It's very challenging. I mean, I go back and forth, to be honest with you. Like, if it was legal, sometimes I ask myself, like, would I still be doing it, right? I guess it all depends. But I'm doing something else now. I have a different path. Obviously, I enjoy, teaching. I enjoy training. I wish I could do that part, open a escort university or something online. We can do a whole curriculum. That's basically what the second book is. It's almost like a textbook, right, of what I did and how I did it. But it's definitely, a lot of people definitely learn better visually and learn better in a classroom setting, or even like what they're doing nowadays in class, Zoom, just online. So it's a lot easier and have it all sectioned off. Different chapters about different things, just like I did How I Made $1 Million a Year as an Upscale Escort. My second book is just about, there's a section about travel, the 13 commandments, the commandments I never broke. Very important. A section about screening, which is extremely important. I break it down. Section about advertising, how to advertise, how to write your ads, where to put them. Section about pictures and videos and just every single aspect of this business, right? It's just like any other business. You got to know what you're doing. And that's the difference between somebody making $4,000 or $5,000 a month and somebody making 10x that or 20x that, That's why even in my own agency in Vegas, most women were making 50 or 60 grand a month, and there was few of them that were making over 100. And there's a reason for that. They had credits, the type of personality they had, the more outgoing, the more experienced you are, the better communicator you are, the better at treating people you are, the more emotionally intelligent you are, and just a good schmoozer and good salesperson, just natural, right? Natural people's person. Those are the women that made the most money, because guys just fell in love with them. They love their personality. They can talk about sports. They can talk about the moon. They can talk about science, whatever it is. I mean, these women were very, very smart. They were very well read, and they knew how to talk. They knew how to communicate. on different levels because everybody communicates differently. You know what, Sonia? Sonia said, move to where it's legal and start that escort university. I have a couple of offers from overseas, but to be honest with you, right now, from personal reasons, I have an 80-year-old mom that I got to take care of. I can't trot her around the world. I can't leave her by herself. And at this stage in my life, to go ahead and start somewhere else, I'll have to be out of the country myself. I've checked with a couple of attorneys because I have a serious offer out of Ukraine. And I had another serious offer out of Germany to do, a few things, right? And one of them was the Escort University thing and the training and stuff. And I have to be out of the country because then I'll be in violation if I do it here while I'm staying here because I'm doing it here and still illegal here. So I'm still, technically, they can get me on promoting prostitution, right? Which is illegal. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what I just said, Sonia. That's true. I'm just not ready to, move to, Germany or Ukraine or any other country right now. Just, for personal reasons, I just can't do it right now. But yeah, it definitely would be a very viable business, and it's very much needed because I don't see anybody really doing it on. I mean, I see some. There's a couple of escorts from. I just did an interview with one. She's from Norway. Escort vlog, I think it's called, on YouTube. She's been around for 5 or 6 years online, and she thrives. Right? She's a very nice lady. She's very well knowledgeable. She's also an escort herself. It's just nobody's doing it on a level where it's. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. It's just that nobody's doing it where they developed a system and they followed it and they tried it and they made it better and being just I'm that type of guy, right? So I don't see anybody doing it on a level where it could be like a curriculum. You know what I mean? Definitely, that's an interesting conversation. Well, we'll see what happens. Right now, we're just trying to get this movie done and hopefully a series done. I'm thinking about producing my own pilot. I spoke with a couple of people, and we'll see what happens. Until then, I'm going to be right here with you guys. We're going to be talking about all this stuff, and hopefully we'll educate, inspire, and motivate some people, and maybe change the perception a little bit about that. We're not just some idiots with a needle stuck in our arms, and that's why we're engaged in this business, right? Not that I'm knocking anybody down. To each his own. Whatever works for you. God bless you. Just be safe and be happy. But not all of us are in that business for those negative reasons. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Eve, how is you listening? In one ear you're listening to this, another ear you're listening to the debate. So who's winning? Who's winning the debate, Eve? Is it Pence or is it Kamala Harris? Or is it more civilized than Trump and Biden? Or are they throwing blows? So, any other exciting and sexy questions? I wanted to tell you guys about this story. I'm trying to think about. I kind of forgotten which story I was gonna. I told you one story about when I did the business myself, and then I had another story I wanted to tell you. I'll think about it. I just have so much on my mind. But yeah, and incidentally, like if you ever guys want to talk about something, just send me an email, madamsuzanne2020@gmail.com. And that email address is on all the descriptions. No matter what video you click on, just look at the description right underneath. It should have it on there, madamsuzanne2020@gmail.com. And let me know if you want me to. Sometimes I struggle with subjects. I just don't know what people are interested in. So if you can just tell me to zoom in on one subject, then I can do that, or two subjects or whatever for the live. And this way, I'll talk about something you guys are interested in. Eve said, not sure Kamala seems to talk circles around anyone. So that's true. So Sonia asked, when will the movie be ready? So this is a big thing, right? And I left the five-star resort March 21st of this year. It's only been 6 months, this whole thing. And this whole journey here that you're seeing, with Madam Suzanne, with the books and all that, this started really in May, like April, like at the end of April, beginning of May, right? It's only been May, June, July, August, September. It's been 5 months. So I've spoken with two producers, and I've spoken with a scriptwriter, and I'm talking to a couple of people now about backing up the money for the pilot, because I'm thinking about producing my own 1 hour pilot, and it'll be a lot easier for me to sell it. There's interest. There's one producer that's really interested, and he's done movies at 60 million, $100 million. The only challenge right now is, and this is not an excuse because I don't like excuses, because of COVID and what's going on with the theaters, everything has slowed down, right? And I'll be honest with you, I've been trying to get a hold of I can't think of his name now. He's out of Atlanta, right? He's one of the only guys that actually is working. His studio is open, and he figured out a way to produce all the shows and do all the things that he's doing. So we'll see what happens, but it's just been a little challenge. I was even thinking about writing the script myself, because I have actually the movie in my mind, how it will go. I have it like frame by frame, just because I lived it and I know like what's exciting, which parts are exciting, and you got the different backgrounds of different escorts, and then different backgrounds of clients, and then how Madam Suzanne just navigates throughout the whole thing, and how she keeps everything together and stuff like this. So I always have a plan. So this is a 3-year plan for me here, what I'm doing, in hopes, I've already put it out there in the universe. In my mind, it's already happened. I'm just trying to have the real life catch up. This is how I do things. I manifest things into reality, and this is really actually works. And what I'm doing right now is just catching up with what's already happened in my mind and then in my universe. So it's a 3-year plan. So the sooner the better, but this is what it is right now. Bad Sophia Marie, take the same exact principle you did that business and help by becoming a life coach. Okay. Do you need a life coach? I'll start with you. I actually help a few people, to be honest with you. I don't charge them or anything like that, but I like that. I like how when I help someone, it actually helps me a lot. And I don't know if you read any of my books or heard any of my like self-help videos, kind of like the motivational one, the inspirational one. I really changed my whole life, my way of thinking. And actually, I'm trying to share as much as I can with what happened with me, how I changed the things I had to change, like my anger issues, my self-worth issues, and stuff like this, and my criminal thinking. So I try to share as much as I can, and I put them in video format, and I wrote about it a little bit. I'll probably write a book or two about that too, and I'll probably give them out for free if it's going to help other people. That's really, to be honest with you, that would be a great ultimate is to do that. That'll be something that I really enjoy doing. Eve, I wonder if Kamala Harris has nipples. I'm gonna guess that'll be a yes, if I had to guess. Maybe we should take a survey. He's so funny. Eve is a crack up. You're funny. So who needs a life coach? I'll charge you $1 an hour. We'll start with that. That's funny. Okay. So you guys have any questions, or should we go? It looks like Steve is really interested in this debate. I don't want to keep you away from your political. But please, if you can, send me an email or a comment and let me know if there's any you want me to focus on next week, and I'll be more than happy to do that. I enjoy talking about this business. I enjoy sharing everything that I can with everybody. I enjoy helping as much as I can within the legal parameters, because just for the disclaimer, just in case, we're not promoting anything illegal, prostitution or pimping or sex trafficking or human trafficking, any of this stuff. We're basically just talking about the things that I've done in the past, which I already went to a 5-star resort for 30 months and paid for it. So that's already done deal. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you want to talk about something next week, please let me know. That'll help me out a lot. So I don't want to talk about something. And okay, Eve, talk to you later. And thank you for coming. And I'll keep it going. And you guys let me know. You can send me an email to madamsuzanne2020@gmail.com. It'll all be on the description of all the videos, and this one included. I'll post this up as soon as possible. And you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. And if you can't or did not find your happiness yet, please look within or call me as your life coach and I'll help you find it. Okay. All right, guys, have a good night and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for coming. Love you guys. Bye-bye.